So I think a lot of people are really going to be surprised by this next move that Shiba Inu makes, this next move that the crypto market makes, because right now a lot of people are getting lulled into complacency. These drops in price, they tend to do this, and people need to understand that really nothing has changed on this even retracement that we've seen from a fundamental standpoint. But things will really change as we get into the early part of 2020 and this new pro crypto embrace. And I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, but what we're seeing is exactly the same as what we saw in the early part of 2024, right before Shib went berserk, right before we saw big surges of adoption. And like I talked about in my video earlier today, it's going to be even bigger still. And I want to show you guys what I mean. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So before we get into the charts and the specific piece of information I want to show you guys, I want to remind everybody what brought us to these levels. Shiba Inu was actually on a very nice run. It was looking for its next extension, next breakout. And unfortunately, the only thing that derailed the crypto market, really brought us down to these levels, was about, 13 days ago. We got our announcement from the Fed. Jerome Powell, even though we did an interest rate decrease, Jerome Powell spoke. And he basically portrayed a little bit of negative sentiment surrounding the US economy and inflation heading into 2025. And that is the only thing that dropped the crypto market, right? We got into some of these long leverage liquidations. It was a multi-day event. And we saw even Shiba Inu go on a huge retracement over the course of just those few days alone. I mean, we're talking a drop of almost 30% in 3 days. All right. Now, the good news is that we found stability in the market. We're still kind of chopping right now. There's a lot of capital that's parked on the sideline waiting to re-enter. And I want people to remember that nothing has really changed heading into 2025. There's still a new pro crypto administration coming in. There's this pro crypto embrace. The US wants to become a powerhouse, and that is going to send ripples throughout the crypto industry, right? I'm not going to say that the US is the most important thing when it comes to crypto, but it does play a big part in it. Just as the EU plays a part, just as Asia plays a part, we've seen all these make major impacts in the market before. Now, that being said, the micro regulations that went into effect yesterday did nothing. All right. This was this big fear event that we were talking about potentially impacting the market, and it didn't do anything. And it's kind of gone by. And again, now this may open up the door for a little more positivity as we head into January. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised by a run up to Inauguration Day, right? And also the day that Gary Gensler steps down. And this big black cloud that's been looming over the industry is now about to clear in a big way in just, guys, basically 3 weeks' time. All right. Now, that being said, we've talked about the trends in terms of Shiba Inu and how this is incredibly similar to what took place back here from a structure standpoint in the charts, from a momentum standpoint on the indicator. We talked about that yesterday. And what's even interesting about this, guys, is we're in the same exact spot from a sentiment standpoint. This is, it's wild how similar this is to right before Shiba Inu started its next big run. All right. Now, again, this isn't a guarantee it's going to play out exactly the same, but you have to point out the similarities when they're there. And this is why, again, when we talk about this next extension in terms of Shiba Inu, it may be a very nice big one to the upside. All right. Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that. And understand that, right now, even though the ranges of retracements are a little bit bigger, that typically happens around this time anyways. This is not new news. This is nothing different than what we've seen in the past. And the great news is that, like I've talked about in many videos and the stuff that people talk about, oh, it doesn't matter, SHIB prices drop, blah, blah, blah. Fundamentals are the most important things that you need, right? If during this time, while Shiba Inu is retracing, we're continuing to set new all-time highs in terms of holders, day after day after day. I think, guys, in this drop that we saw here in terms of price, so since December 9th, we've had one day where Shiba Inu holder quantity has dropped. Think about that, right? So you've seen new holders entering Shiba Inu and buying the dip and building their position, right? We have seen a pretty big level of resilience from whales. Yes, there's been some days of unloading with some of the uncertainty that's come entering 2025. But for the most part, whales have actually helped establish a nice floor. I know there are some people that like to beat up on whales, and guys, understand that there are good whales and there are bad whales. And the good news is that good whales have been buying and accumulating Shiba Inu and have been here for a long time. Some of the swing traders, some of the speculators, those are the ones that have sold and kind of washed themselves out. And the great news is that those guys chase on the way up too, right? Just because you're big money doesn't necessarily mean that you're smart money. And something that we've seen is that a lot of smart money has, in fact, gotten into Shiba Inu. So those are very strong signs for the future. So what I have to say is, obviously, right now, just watching the charts and how Shiba Inu is doing, we're off to the start of a good day. And even if today doesn't materialize into something really exciting or really explosive, understand that as we enter 2025 and specifically January, it's going to be a good time for crypto in general. Even if it's not from a price standpoint, and I know that January is going to be an unpredictable month anyways with the new incoming administration, understand how big of a deal that is for crypto in the future to bring in further adoption, right? Because the big thing that Shiba Inu needs is adoption. We need retail to keep adopting crypto in general. That's how you become a mature market. That's how Shiba Inu becomes a mature asset. And what I have to say is that right now, the fundamentals are showing it's well on its way. So don't get lulled into complacency. Don't freak out if there are retracements in price. I know that luckily a lot of people have been here on the channel for a long period of time and have now gotten conditioned to these drops, right? Many people got conditioned on this one and during entering the bear market cycle, right? And so now people can stomach these retracements a lot easier. Guys, 40% is nothing. And again, Shiba Inu's done this many, many times before on the way to an all-time high. And it wouldn't surprise me if Shiba Inu does it many times again on the way to new highs once again. So I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. Have you prepared enough for this big wave that is about to hit? Have a great day. Show your love below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.